Hello, this is Signpost, and I'm going to be going through one of the routes that I found in the beta. This route's nearest settlement is Eastburn, in the area of Cleves Malice and Slumbering Echoes. The route time is 16 minutes, and the route yields 18 Gleaming Lodestones, which are Tier 3 medical regents, 12 Shocking Lodestones, which are Tier 3 offensive regents, as well as a handful of life motes and air motes. This route has two paths, with a camp in the middle. The first path is going to have you coming down south, collecting all of the life jewels in the area, and then respawning back to the camp. Second route will have you going north, collecting all the obvious shock stones up above, and then coming back and finishing the route. Once you come back, this route will take about 16 minutes in total. Alright, getting into the video of the run, we'll start it at the camp, and this is going to be mostly sped up. I'll only slow it down whenever I have something specific to note. This node in general, you can skip the aggro if he's pathing on the far end. After that, we're going to be heading up to these cliffs. The primary reason of this is going to be to lose aggro of anything that might be following us, but also because we have to come up here anyways to grab these Shockspires. I just want to point out here that the aggro system in this game is based off sightlines, so if their back is turned to you, or if there's like a wall or something preventing sightlines to you, they won't actually aggro onto you. Quick note though, the nodes themselves don't block line of sight, so they will be able to see you through a node. This next node up here is going to be a little bit more annoying than the rest, mostly because you're almost guaranteed to have a wolf aggro onto you, and wolves themselves are a little bit difficult to mine through. I would try and just lead him away and then come back and try and mine once or twice before he gets to you. After that, you just dodge their attacks. This one's giving me a little bit of trouble, but he actually does end up de-aggroing. This is not common, it's just because he was the farthest wolf. Anyways, after you mine that one, go ahead and come up to the cliffs again. This is again to de-aggro any of the mobs on you, but also because the next node is a drop down and it's easier to get from this angle. The mob on the far end that you can see, if he's facing away, you can just mine this one for free. If he ends up facing you, he will attack you, but you can just continue mining and dodge any attack. Right here, I do dash over the wall, but you could probably just take the gap just fine. This is another patrolling mob that if he is close, he will find you and hit you, but if he's far away, you generally have enough time to mine it out full before he even gets to you. This node, I haven't found any way of jumping up there from the left, so the closest point I've found is right onto the right here. The next node is going to be through the gates, and do be very careful because there are a lot of ranged mobs here, and if you can't take a hit, it'll be pretty frustrating to get through this point. After this, normally we would just have to jump up once, but because there are ranged mobs, we do have to jump up all the way up here in order to lose the aggro off them. If we were trying to just go to mine it, they'd end up throwing axes on us and it would probably hurt. After this, we just jump through the gap here to grab the next node. This next node is also a tricky node. You are guaranteed to have at least one wolf on you, but if you wait for that red wolf to turn around, you don't need to have two. A quick note here, you can lock this wolf behind the node. However, this isn't terribly common, and I wouldn't bank on it happening every time. Next we are going to head up to the farther node up here. The reason that we would go up to this node, as opposed to the node a little bit closer to us over there, is because if we're up here, the wolves will de-aggro. If we go to the closer node, they will just keep attacking us. Next part of the route, I usually take the cliff up here, up and over, to avoid some of the aggro on the other wolves. This particular run, I wasn't able to get the hookup point to get it, but I do believe the hookup point is rough around here. Either way, you are going to be heading to this far node to do aggro. A quick note about movement in water: always make sure to use your movement abilities anytime you can go over water with them, because you can't dodge in there. This node specifically, if the wolf is on the far end, he can't actually aggro onto you here. Make sure you're within 480 meters of your camp. You can do that at the compass at the top, it'll actually show you. And go ahead and either die by wolves, or if you don't want to die by wolves, you could probably walk up, though it would take a significant amount more time. Right now the timer is at about 11 minutes and 30 seconds, and if you notice the nodes aren't actually refreshed yet, this is because most nodes have anywhere between 12 to 16 minutes as a refresh time. I've actually seen nodes go all the way up to 19 minutes, but it's not terribly common. This is why the next part of this run is important. It's because it just pads out those 4 minutes to have, actual productivity. And that's one of the things about gathering in this game, is that it doesn't matter how many you can gather in a short amount of time. What matters is how many you can gather in a set amount of time. And that amount of time is usually about 16 minutes, because that's often when the route will start to reset. So, for example, if you could do 5 nodes in 10 minutes, but you can do 6 nodes in 15 minutes, the 6 nodes in 15 minutes are actually going to be the better bet, because you get one more node in your run, and it will take about 15 minutes for it to reset anyways. If you're interested in how I'm doing the roll quickly and kind of preventing the ending lag of the roll there, I know it's a little bit difficult to see in the sped up portion, but essentially if you swap weapons at the end of your roll, you basically cancel out the animation of finishing your roll. Anyways, I've decided to end my run here by getting killed. You could probably just walk back to the camp, you are fairly close. And that's the run. If you notice, the nodes are back up and the route's ready to be gone through again. If you ended up liking this video, please look down and consider at what point your life actually went wrong. And for those 5 people who this video is actually going to help, I'm Signpost, and you're welcome.